Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to Geek Syndicate episode 313. We are doing what we always do, and that's bringing the sass back to geekdom. I am Monts, and he...
Obi-Wan Nuge.
What? Obi-Wan Nuge?
Yeah.
See, do you know what? That's really interesting to me, because original Star Wars trilogy, loved the Jedi. The prequels came, I was like, Jedi's just fools, man. And then Clone Wars came back and Rebels came back, and I was like, yeah, love the Jedi. And I'm kind of back in it again. Have you done that journey?
I really got no answer.
Okay.
I was just thinking of like what could I call myself when you kind of did the pause, and I just thought Obi-Wan sounded pretty cool.
Forgive me for looking for depth in your life. Obviously, that was a mistake. Shallow as a puddle, man. You couldn't drown a puppy in your depth.
Or my big toe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm saving now because we're going to talk Star Wars later, so I'm saving all like my kind of like Jedi-nesses for reviews, and when we get to Star Wars, that's the plan. I've recorded 3 other podcasts this week, and every podcast has had at least a 40-minute conversation on Rise of Skywalker, which hasn't been recorded.
Why has it not been recorded?
Because it's just been off air. It's literally before we've started.
All right, so we need to get into...
Yeah, someone's kind of gone.
I'm coming to this not really having talked about it with anybody. You've analysed it to death, and you come. Okay, that's cool. Let's do this.
You know what's weird? Right? Even though like I've talked for it, like I said, over 40 minutes, well, close to an hour, I still feel fresh in terms of analysing. Do you know what I'm saying? I've still got shit to say. Don't you worry about that.
Don't you worry about that. Okay.
Don't you worry about me, buddy, man. I got it covered, man.
All right then. So we'll have Rise of whatever it's called.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Can I just say, I saw a meme. I saw a fake news site on Facebook, and it had a picture of a stormtrooper on it, and it said, "No one hurt in stormtrooper 1 hour shooting rampage."
Joe, I just got that as well. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway. Anywho. So, right, we're saving Rise of Thingy till later. So for now, let's just go. Week that was, man. Are you straight in? You got news? You got shout outs?
I got a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Derek Howard. So as you know, my one man show has been going for several years now.
Tom Tucker.
Yeah. What Derek Howard has informed me is someone has been plagiarizing my name.
I saw this
years. In some, I don't know, some play called Cats or something. I don't know what that is. And there's a character called Rum Tum Tugger.
Rum Tum Tugger.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just want to let Andrew Lloyd Webber know I'm giving him notice. I've spoken to my lawyers. I don't want to get, do you know what I mean? I don't want to get nasty with you or nothing, dude. So just change the name and we'll call it George.
If you offer me a pheasant, I'd rather have grouse. If you put me in a house, I would much prefer a flat. If you put me in a flat, then I'd rather have a house. If you set me on a mouse, then I only want a rat. If you set me on a rat, then I'd rather chase a mouse. That's the lyrics, the Rum Tum Tugger lyrics.
Right. So how is it I can drop tunes from like an immortalized classic musical, which is based on the classic book, which is Les Miserables, right?
Yeah.
And you can that you didn't even know, Mr. Actor, Mr. Thespian.
I've never seen Cats.
But you know the tune.
I don't know the tune. I was just making that up.
Oh, okay. Good job then, buddy.
I just got to make it rhyme, is all I was thinking.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really tempted to watch Cats when it comes out of stream. I'm not paying money for it.
Man, I can't. I've seen the trailer and it just gives me nightmares.
Yeah, I know. It just looks so wrong.
Wrong. That's the word. It's not even. It looks terrible. It just looks wrong in a very fundamental way.
I've seen that trailer coming on the TV, and my own cat Steve and Trevor have been in the room, and they just got up and walked out in disgust and just gone, "You would have nah."
That sounds commensurate with many of the reviews I've heard, but there you go. Never thought on this podcast we'd be discussing cats, but there you go.
No, here we go. We're a podcast for all seasons. Right, let's move on.
Right. Week that was, or more like the month that was. What you got?
We've got, well, first off, I know we're going to talk, the basis is going to be TV and film, but very quickly, I want to mention the comic. Just because I've been meaning to mention this comic to you for a little while now, and I keep forgetting. I'm like, I want to do it. So this comic is called Simon Says Nazi Hunter, Volume 1. You heard of this?
Says? No.
This is from Image Comics. It's by Andre R. Fratino, who's the writer, and the artist is Jesse Lee. 120 pages is volume 1, which is what I'd read. And the blurb is, an artist forced to paint swastikas on train cars for the Nazis during the Holocaust has become an unlikely vigilante in pre-Cold War Europe. Alongside his army companion Bruno, he hunts down the criminals responsible for murdering his wife, family, and his people. Simon Says is one part action adventure, one part crime noir, and an all high-stakes drama.
I just looked it up, and I love the cover. I mean, like when you said like crime noir, it's got noir written all over it.
Yeah, and so it's based on the is it Simon Wiesenthal?
I haven't got a clue.
He was a Nazi hunter.
Okay.
So he's a real guy. And it's kind of loosely sort of based on his life.
Mm.
And let me tell you, right, the best way to sum up this comic is, I mean, it's very good. It's got a lot of drama in it as well, but it has got a noir vibe to it. It's quite stark in some places as well, but it's definitely got that kind of Bond vibe, but not in a kind of gadgets way, in that kind of how you would want.
I've just seen Forbes.com. They've put, go Nazi hunting with a Jewish James Bond in Simon Says.
Yeah. But a better way to describe it would be, you know that X-Men First Class film?
Yeah.
The sort of first sort of 20 minutes is basically Magneto hunting down Nazis.
Yeah.
And there's that scene where he goes into the bar and he's drinking the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that whole scene and that vibe, and that's this comic.
Right. Okay. Nice.
That's this comic. And in fact, the opening sort of prologue is very similar. It's almost like a bit of a homage to like that scene in X-Men. I loved it. It was really good, and actually ended. This first volume ended in a way that something I wasn't expecting at all, which definitely made me eager to check out like future volumes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean to give it a mention to you because I thought you'd like it. Yeah, it's in black and white.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It just sounds. Yeah, I'm up for that. I'm all good.
Yeah, with splashes of red, so it's got that kind of Schindler's List sort of tone in terms of the look of it. It's good, and obviously Nazis get a kick in, which is what you want.
It's always nice.
It's always good. It's always good. It's always what you want to see. Anyway, that's comics covered off for this time.
Yeah, well, I've read no comics because Panto.
Yeah. Oh no, he hasn't.
Oh, don't kill me now. It was doing Panto in Stratford upon Avon, which is the birthplace of Shakespeare, for those who don't know. And this town has got so many charity shops. Yeah. And to give you an example of what kind of town it is, DC Bombshells.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's a range of merchandise that became comics, and it's based on lots of DC female superheroes, kind of done in that 50s pin-up style. There was a charity shop that had 2 statues, one of Supergirl and one of someone else, can't remember now. And I was like, oh, in a charity shop, that might be worth, maybe I could afford that. £100 each.
Damn.
I went online, yeah, you can get them for like £50 each. I'm like, that's charity shops in Stratford upon Avon, that's all I'm saying. But there you go. All right then, so we've done comics. I ain't read none. TV, what we got on TV? Right, to start off with, did we talk about the BBC's new adaptation of War of the Worlds?
No, we didn't.
So very briefly, 3 episodes. I really enjoyed the first episode. Second episode was like, where are they going with this? It's a bit odd. Third episode was downright, the hell is this? The hell have they done to my beloved like War of the Worlds? I was like, no, it was nonsense.
So for me, we won't linger in it too long.
Yeah.
For me, I watched the first episode with Sue, and it got to the end of the episode, and Sue just turned to me and she's like, "I'm out."
What, the first episode?
Yeah, she's like, "I'm out."
See, I was
and
still in at that point.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stick with it. To be fair, I struggled with the first episode for a really, really poor reason, but I'll still give it. No one's chipping in that show, Monts.
Yeah, you keep going on about this,
right? And it bothers me. It bothers me, right? And if you're a new listener and you're not from, you're not from the UK, North London, again to explain. You've got different chipping is basically running, but it's running to the extreme. It's like
running like the hounds of hell are snapping at your heels.
It's like the light speed of running, right?
And it's usually inspired by fear.
By fear. And in my mind, when you got giant tripod things destroying half of London and you're jogging down the street.
Yeah, I ain't jogging nowhere, man. I'm gone. All you're seeing in me is dust.
Yeah, it's nonsense. So I really struggled. Really struggled. But I thought, you know what? I'll stick with it. I'll give the second episode a go. I got halfway through the second episode, and it was almost like I saw myself in the mirror, and my reflection was like, "Why are we still watching this?"
Yeah.
And I just turned. I've got to that stage now because there is so much good stuff on, and not even just good stuff. So much new stuff to try out that I'm now kind of like. I feel like I'm the sort of guy who goes into like a department store trying on jackets and going, nah, I don't fancy that. Putting it back on the... Do you know what I mean?
It's been a hard habit to break because I'm from that time when there wasn't much choice. So you know what I mean? I watched 10 seasons of Smallville.
Yeah, I know.
And you think I'd learn from that. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. So, and I did it with the third season of Jessica Jones because I loved that character. But by the third season, I was like, oh man, you're killing it. And I was like, but I could feel this sense of duty kicking in, going, you love this character. You got to sit down and watch it, even if it's a hard slog. And I thought, I don't.
No.
And it's freeing. But I'm not going to lie. I'll be honest to my shame. It was actually really hard for me to do that.
Yeah. And I realised
I've got that hangover left there that just like, oh, you started, you got to finish. You don't. But it's hard not to.
Yeah, I still haven't watched. See, and even the phrasing tells your story. When by starting off, I say I still haven't watched Punisher season 2. I still haven't watched Jessica Jones season 3.
Does that mean
so the implication is I am going to watch it at some stage.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, what I'm saying to myself is, well, I don't want to watch them.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I really enjoyed the first season of Jessica Jones. Can't really say the same for the Punisher. You can't really say you enjoyed the Punisher. You kind of survived the Punisher.
You appreciated the Punisher.
Yeah, I appreciated the Punisher. But yeah, I don't feel the need. Not when there's other shows that I've yet to watch. Do you know what I mean?
All right, let's talk about another show then.
Okay. I've watched the first 2 episodes of Swamp Thing.
Oh, okay, because I've finished that.
Again, I wasn't going to watch it because everyone told me it had been cancelled. But then I thought that isn't the reason to not watch a show.
No, right. And there's still as far as I can tell, there's still no clear reason as to why it was. Because it was this whole thing about some financial business and then that got debunked. So no one's really calling out why. I'm not, maybe I've missed something.
Yeah.
But
however, the first episode and probably the first sort of 10 minutes of the first episode, I remember something happens at the start. I don't want to spoil it for people, do you know what I mean? But something happens at the start where, let's just say, things don't go right for some fisherman.
Yeah.
And I was like...
under exaggeration.
And the thing is, I was watching it on a plane. And in the seats behind me there was a kid behind me who kept kicking my chair. I know it's the wrong thing, but I was really tempted to just show him that clip. And go, you're so interested to see what I'm doing, kid. Have a look at that.
Yeah, no, fair
You're
enough.
welcome.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, got to learn.
You just go to sleep. You know what I mean?
If you
Because
can.
wow, I was like, what the hell? I was like, this show is dark, man.
No, yeah. No, they weren't playing.
They weren't playing.
So
And then when you actually get Swamp Thing, you start, oh man.
And it, yeah.
Dude some people got effed up in that second episode, man.
Man. Like, no mistake. So having watched 2 episodes, are you going to watch the rest?
I'm going to stick with it. I am going to stick with it. I enjoyed it. I think part of it was because so many people had hyped it. I don't think it lived up to the hype because it had been so hyped, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think even given that, I've still come to it really late. So I think that's kind of helped temper it down a little bit. But no, I'm enjoying it. I think there's some good characters and stuff like that. I still think there's a little bit of it which is quite cliched. You know, girl leaves town under a cloud,
Yeah.
got to come back and face her past and all that. And
Which
I could have done with that.
Which isn't quite how Abby Arcane was in the comics. So
Yeah. And to be honest, there's enough going on without that storyline. That's I don't know how it's going to.
It does become, to be fair, it does become quite important.
Okay.
It does become like a central point of. I can't say anything without.
All right. Okay.
You'll see.
But no, yeah. I enjoyed it, and what I've seen so far, I would certainly recommend it to people, regardless of the fact it's been cancelled.
Now, like I said to you, there's this little trifecta of Titan, Swamp Thing, and Doom Patrol that I absolutely loved, and no one's really talking about.
Yeah. Well, Titan starts back, I think, this week on Netflix.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. It's either this week or next week. So I'll be watching that.
And Doom Patrol is available on Amazon if you get a Starz subscription, which is just nonsense.
There's a whole podcast on that, man. I'll tell you. But what I'm probably going to do, because I do want to watch Doom Patrol, especially after what you said about it last episode, is I'm probably going to bite the bullet and just get it for. Oh no, I think they were doing a deal where I think like for the first month it was.
Yeah, well that's what I did in order to watch Pennyworth, but then I had to go and do Pento, so we never got to finish it all. So I might just have to shell out at $5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, so
I begrudge that money, but I want to see Pennyworth.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think going forward that would be more what I might do is like I might get it for a month, pay like £4 or whatever. Which, to be honest, if you're actually good enough to remember to cancel it, when you look at it from that point of view, you're effectively paying £5 for
a whole season.
And
anything else they have to offer that you might want to take advantage of.
When you look at it with that perspective, that's a bargain.
Especially as you're not tied into it.
Yeah. That, which I think is quite good. So maybe moving forward, that might be the way to go.
It is proper out of left field though, so that's my only warning to people.
Okay.
If you can't take shows that are a bit out there, then Doom Patrol's not for you. But,
right.
But if you're good with that, I think it's amazing.
Okay.
So the other thing I've been watching, and I haven't finished it yet, but once I started, basically, come to chill of an evening with the wife, and she says she watches Dark Materials. And so it's Dark Materials based on, what was the book called?
It was the first book called Northern Lights.
Northern Lights. By Philip Pullman. This show, man, it is.
It's quality, isn't it?
I can't fault it. It's not obvious to sit there and go, I can't fault this, but I can't.
No.
The casting is amazing. Yeah, there's a bear in it, which is just awesome. Have you finished it?
Yeah, I've finished it, man. Yeah, man.
The bear is awesome.
The bear's legend, man.
There's Lee Scoresby. I'm an aeronaut kid.
I think him and the bear could get their own spin-off show. I'd be all over that, man.
Yes, sir. There's a bit on their balloon and some things attack them. And like Lee Scoresby shooting at them, and he goes, "Are there any more?" And the bear goes, "No, you must have got them. Your shooting certainly improved since last we travelled together." It's like, yeah. But also it's proper dark. The acting is awesome. The way it's shot is fantastic and stark, and I'm just all over this show. I just got, you know what, BBC?
Yeah.
Job done.
And I've also said, I remember saying this to Stace, right? Who knew, like, someone wearing a chunky jumper tucked into their trousers with a shirt and tie would look badass.
Yeah, do
Do you know what I mean?
chunky jumper.
Because I know if I came downstairs like rocking that look, Sue would just take one look at me like, what the hell are you wearing? Go back upstairs, find yourself something decent to wear, otherwise we'll not leave the house. But James McAvoy can pull that shit off, man.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing, so when I read the books, I read all the books, and by the end of the third one, I was done. I was out. I'm not saying it wasn't well written, but I just felt like I was being beat. You know, and people go, "Oh, I hate when people beat me over the head with their religion." I feel like I was being beaten over the head with his atheism.
Okay.
And I just like, do you know what? By the end of it, it's like, I've got it, dude. I've got it. With this, I can feel it there, but I'm not being poked in the eye with it.
Right.
And it's not. What I found was it was taking me out of the story, and in this, I'm totally wrapped up in the story. So
when the first episode was out, with Sue sort of said, "I'm not watching that," because she remembered the film.
Yeah.
And she tried to read the book as well, and she's like, I couldn't get on with the book. I didn't really like the film. You watch it. And I was kind of like, I didn't mind the film. To be honest, I couldn't even really remember the film, which says volumes.
That's what Siobhan said.
I couldn't even remember it. So I'm like, I'll give it a go. I watched that first episode once, and I just said to Sue, you need to give this a go. And she was like, why should I give it a go? I said, basically, this is the sort of show that we used to watch when we were kids that would be the run-up to Christmas.
Yeah,
like Box of Delights and
I was just about to say that. Yeah,
and Lion, Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe. These are shows you'd watch right up to Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Not quite a kid show, just a little step up. Do you know what I mean?
Happy shows. Do you know what I mean?
Happy shows, you know. And then she went and watched the first episode with me again, and she was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm in. This is cracking," and she loved it.
Oh,
and
wait.
also the soundtrack.
Yeah.
That opening sequence, wow, man.
When when the witch comes in,
yeah,
don't mess with the witches.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Don't mess with the witches.
Yeah, it's quality, man. Yeah, it's a good show. It's a good show. If you haven't checked it out, check out Dark Materials. It is a good show.
Yeah, I've got 2 left, and I just like. But anyway, if I had no kids, it would have been finished long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think, given I hadn't read the books or whatever, how it ends, again, I was like, mouth was open.
Right, let's move on, because minute this show is done, I'm going to watch the next episode.
Have you seen the new Dracula TV show by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss?
It is on my radar.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. The overwhelming thing I'm getting from the internet is don't watch episode 3. It sounds like watching episode 3 spoils an otherwise great show.
So here's the thing. Episodes 1 and 2 were brilliant. I really enjoyed it. And it was really unexpected.
Right.
In terms of how they did Dracula. Because, he's scary and all that sort of stuff, but he kind of almost feels like he should be, and it sounds really stupid, but it almost feels like he should be in a carry-on film.
Okay.
Because my boy was dropping one-liners left, right, and centre. And you kind of end up almost rooting for him.
Okay.
Which you can't, exactly, it feels wrong.
You want to be terrified by him.
You want to be, but you are. But at the same time, he's so damn charming, which is kind of how Dracula should be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's a monster.
You need to want to be seduced. There's got to be a reason that people are seduced into his clutches.
Exactly. And he's got that kind of Christopher Lee vibe to him.
Yeah, no, look, the
you know
look of him is, yeah.
However, the stroke of genius they've done, they've got, and I haven't read the book, so I think someone was telling me at work that I think she is a character in the book. So instead of sort of Van Helsing as a bloke, there's a Agatha Van Helsing.
Okay.
Who's a nun.
Yeah, I've seen this stuff about Agatha. People have been saying good things, but
let me tell you, episode, to me, they're kind of war of minds battling. It's up there with Holmes and Moriarty.
Really?
Yeah, it just works. It just works. She's wicked. She is wicked. And their chemistry is, it's off the chain. So yeah, the first episodes are great. Episode 3, I think, kind of falls into a bit of a Stephen Moffat trap in terms of, if you've watched some of his other adaptations, like Jekyll and stuff like that, you could probably see where I'm going with it. But I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it. But I think once you watch the 3rd episode, you'll kind of see what I mean. And I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it, but to me, it just wasn't as good as the previous. It wasn't as good as the setup in the first 2 episodes. It just wasn't. But they did do something in there, which was a throwback to the Hammer films, which, if you know your Hammer films, you'll know the scene. And I just thought, that was quality. But to me, it felt he was trying, or because it's him and Mark Gatiss, isn't it? It just felt to me they were trying to shove too many ideas into that 3rd episode.
Right, okay.
And whilst I appreciate having a show where you've only got 3 episodes, just I actually quite like that. It's three and done. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I kind of feel in this case, I think it would have benefited from a 4th episode.
Right.
I think there was just too much stuff that got introduced in that 3rd episode, which had never been introduced in the previous episodes, and didn't get paid off. As in, didn't really get explained.
Mm.
But to me, other than that, that isn't a reason not to watch this show, because I thought it was really good, really entertaining.
Yeah, I'm on. Even if it does get a bit let down, you've convinced me enough that I'm going to.
It's a journey, man. It's
two
all
out
about
of
the
2
journey.
out of 3 is all right.
Yeah, and like I said, the 3rd one isn't terrible. It's just not as good as the other 2. And I think the other 2 were of such a high quality. The bar was set so high, and it just felt like, oof, we nearly had it. Do you know what I mean? It's like falling at the final hurdle. Do you know what I mean?
It's kind of like, it's classic Moffat, unfortunately.
Yeah, sticking that landing.
And it's just the same thing he did with Doctor Who. He's like, yeah. Oh well, there you go.
But I'd love to see them do more. That is my takeaway, is that I would love to see them do more.
Okay, right, I'm on that.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on Moffat, what about, have you seen the new Doctor Who?
I have seen the new Doctor Who.
And I'm almost nervous to ask you, but go ahead.
So before we get started, just in case, we don't know where we'll go with this, but just in case, if you haven't seen new Doctor Who, you might want to skip ahead. In fact, because we'll probably talk Star Wars after this, if you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, you might want to just turn off now.
Yeah, so thanks for being with our first show for New Year. And, check us out the next episode.
We'll see you in episode 314.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry. So the reason I'm making such a big deal about spoilers is there's a massive twist in the first episode, and that was completely spoiled for me. I literally just popped online and it was spoiled for me, and it was spoiled by geek sites.
See that?
Several geek sites and several geek individuals completely spoiled it on Twitter. Just put up images and just chatted about it. Literally,
what you're saying is people who should know better.
People who should know better. And this wasn't even like, a couple of days. Still, a couple of days is too much. It's still not enough time as far as I'm concerned. This was like, I don't know, like 10 minutes after that episode had finished.
What are you saying? Nah, people need to come better than that.
Do you know what I mean? And then the next day it was like open season, and because of that, it coloured my. So basically, the twist was, again, if you haven't watched Doctor Who, don't be spoiled. Stop now. And pause, and we're back. So basically, it was the reveal of the Master.
Yeah.
Knowing that reveal, and I'm not even going to say how the reveal happens, because even that I'm trying my best not to. knowing what that reveal is going into this episode kills a lot of the tension, because
it really does. You know what? I was like, some spoilers you go, oh damn it, didn't want to know that, but you know what? It's all right. But that's not all right.
No, I would have, I would have killed to have been able to have seen it, because watching the episode, the thing I took away from it is I wouldn't have known.
So you know what? So what I said to Siobhan was, there was a moment where something was niggling in my head, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And the minute it was revealed, I went, "That's what it was."
Right.
And it's the bit where he said, "You've got to find the spy master." And it's like, Doctor Who, you can't be throwing around the word master like that.
Right.
And so it was there in my head, but because I was like not expecting it at all, it kind of like went and then just passed on by. So as he was starting to reveal it, I went, "He's a master, spy master. Why didn't I see that?" Yeah. So I saw it coming, but I didn't really see it coming. If you see what I mean.
Yeah. However, which goes to show how good I thought the guy was, the actor who played the master was.
And I didn't realise he was the dude from Iron Fist.
No, yeah, he was the bad guy in Iron Fist. The fact that I knew he was going to be the master, when he flipped and he was the master, he just nailed it. I can't even, and I think he was good in that first episode, but the second episode, he was away. He was like.
And I'll tell you why I think that, because my problem is ever since New Who has come back, I think what they've gone is like, the most successful Doctor Who was Tom Baker, so we need to go a little bit crazy. And all the Doctors have been a little bit crazy, but they've kind of like they turned the crazy up, and David Tennant went a bit crazy, Matt Smith went a bit crazy. I think Jodie's trying to be a bit crazy, but I feel like she calmed down a lot for this. So I enjoyed her more in these 2 episodes than I did the entirety of the last season.
Yeah,
because I feel like she's been a little bit more her own Doctor.
Yeah.
Now John Sims came and did the Master, and he went crazy. And I felt like in the first episode, my boy was being a little bit crazy. In the second one, I feel like he toned it down a bit.
Yeah, I thought he toned it down a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's when it started to work, because it's not that the Master is crazy, it's that he's evil.
Yeah,
and that does tend to make you a bit unhinged. So that crazy's there, but let's not get carried away. Do you know what I mean? Let's not get carried away with the crazy. He's evil more than crazy.
And I think, for me, I always like when it's done well, when you've got the classic archetype, and by that I mean your Holmes and Moriarty archetype, because that's who they're supposed to represent, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there's a scene where they're on top of the Eiffel Tower, and they're sort of talking or whatever. Yeah. And that's the bit where I was like, this is the Doctor I kind of want to see her doing. Where she kind of turns to him and she just goes, "When does it end for you? The killing, the this, that, when does it end?" Do you know what I mean? And he's just like, "Why does it have to end?" I was like,
it's like,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was no grandstanding. It was just like, why does it have to end? And there's a bit before, because he rocks up as a Nazi with these boys.
And I was see, at that point, forgive my interrupting, but at that point, I was like, one of the things Doctor Who has never been good at was explaining ethnic minorities in the past to places where they wouldn't be allowed. I remember Sarah Jane Adventures didn't ignore that. They faced it head on. And I was like, boy, you've got the kids spin-off being braver than the actual TV show. And then they hit it. They said, all right, it was almost as like they heard me. It's almost like they're reading my mind and going, yeah, no, you're right. Hold on. We're gonna come to that. And I was like, oh, okay.
It was just a little drop. She just dropped in a line. I was like, okay, no, I'm all right now. Back in.
Yeah, that's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Yeah. But it's the fact when he goes into the room and they're hiding on the floorboards and he's got the Nazi guys with him, and he's just got a swag to him, even though he's a little dude. He's not a big guy.
No.
And he just comes in.
His voice, he's quite softly spoken as well.
Yeah. But he's got the walking stick, and he just like bangs on the floor the walking stick, and they just like open up with the machine guns on the floor, and he just taps it again and they stop, and he just walks out, and I'm like, yeah, that's a villain, man.
Yeah, Yeah, no,
I'm not playing. Do you know what I mean?
I was impressed. I've seen some people online go, "Yeah, no, this is everything I hate about Doctor Who. I won't be watching." And I was like, for me, this is
Well,
the first time they got it right in a year.
yeah,
Because I don't think
yeah,
there was like 2 episodes that I really enjoyed last season, but overall I was like, uh,
yeah. I mean,
um,
I've got some criticisms a little bit, but I go into it. She's going to be like a plug now. I'll go into it a lot more in. I recorded an episode of Ant, and we'll have to get you on one man. Got into this in a bit in depth, and I got some criticisms about like, and Amy was around, so she came in to it as well, because she's a massive fan of Ada Lovelace, who was in
yeah,
this
yeah,
episode,
yeah.
and she was. All I'll say is Amy was not happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was not happy. And then I discovered some stuff about the other character who's a radio operator and stuff like that, about what happened to her, or would have happened to her after the Doctor left her, and yeah, it ain't good. Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
And
it ain't good for them, or it ain't good the way Doctor
ain't
Who
good for
handled
them.
it.
It ain't good for the way Doctor Who handled it, because basically, cause I don't know if you know the story.
Nah,
So basically, I forget her name now, so apologies. Noon, I forget her name, but it would have been, I think it was a year after the Doctor would have left her, dropped her off.
yeah,
And she sort of, he sort of says, "Oh, bon chance," and then she kind of swaggers off. Yeah, she gets betrayed, captured. I think she gets shipped off to two prisons, because I think she escaped from one or something. But she ends up getting shot, as in like executed.
see, I haven't got a problem with her being in that, but I think they could have handled that nicer.
Yes, it isn't the fact that that's what happens to her, because obviously that's history.
Yeah,
But it almost feels like the way it was done almost feels like they didn't know that's what happened to her. Do you get what I mean? It's like someone's gone
mm.
on Wikipedia, done a bit of research, and gone, yeah, we could use this character. That should be great. And then the episode comes out, and everyone's on Twitter going, "You do know that this is what happened to her after the Doctor left her." And then someone going, "George, I thought you told me she was all right." Yeah, I don't think I don't think I read past that bit, mate. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's what it felt like,
Yeah, yeah, and it's a real. I'll tell you what the real shame of it is that, is that when they walk in and Bradley, whatever his name's character says, "Who are these two? Are you replacing us?" And I was thinking, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I was like, no, I'll be up for that because they're awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They are awesome. They're doing a lot more than you three are. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, come on. Which again to me gets me angry. With the one thing that's bugged me about Doctor Who since it came back over 10 years ago, and that's why you got a whole of the universe to choose from. Everyone's from Earth in the 20th century. And I've watched El Ministerio del Tiempo, which we've talked about on this show, which has shown me you can do a time travel show with people from different time periods. And with Doctor Who, they don't even have to be from different time periods. You've got different worlds, different cultures, different ways of coming at it. And you're still sticking with that. And I was like, and I saw those two women there, and I was like, yes, two women from completely different time periods. Let's have it.
I understood the reasoning in the very first series of Christopher Eccleston, because you're bringing back a show, you don't know if it's going to work, you want to cover do you know what I mean? You want to hedge your bets. And Doctor Who is a far out premise. I think it's less of a far out premise these days, but certainly back then you're trying to relaunch it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's basically a guy in the police box, which is bigger than inside. You you travel through time and space, had adventures. Yeah, right, mate. Do you know what I mean? But I think by having the companion Rose in that first series and kind of making her that kind of grounded modern day sort of companion, I think helped. And you had her extended family as well. I think it helped to bring in people who wouldn't normally watch a show like Doctor Who.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because it kind of rooted it in that kind of almost that kitchen sink drama and sci-fi. But you're established now.
Yeah.
You've got a massive fan base now. So you could have given you know what I mean? You could set up the Doctor with K9 and people would roll with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So I think you can now afford to take chances with the companions that you have. But as I said, we're certainly not gonna get that this season. I don't think we'll get it with this incarnation of the Doctor.
No.
I think the fam are here to stay.
Yeah, no badness to them. I am a little bit bored of. I've been bored of contemporary companions for a little while now. But
Yeah.
there you go. What are you gonna do?
But to end on the positive, overall, I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, got me back in.
I did enjoy it.
Because I was like, I was like, oh, Doctor Who's back. But I came out again. Hey, Doctor Who's back.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna mention something very, very quickly.
Okay.
And then we can hit Star Wars. So I started to watch something that, because of my kids, I started to watch something that we used to watch as kids.
Okay.
Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh, is this the reboot thing?
Yeah.
I can't watch it, man.
Right. So I looked at that.
Wrong.
I looked at that.
Wrong,
I looked at the picture and I went, I can't watch that. It's going to give me nightmares. I will say, it's not as bad in situ as it looks just in a picture.
Okay.
Not by half. I came out of it and I was like, that was a success. They've reworked it. They're true to the spirit of it. The writing is great. My 8-year-old loved it. So for me, that's job done. And I came out and went, that was lovely. And also it was like, this is a kid's show. It's not like kid's show. We're going to bring the adults in as well. Here's a wink to the adults. It's a kid's show.
Okay.
But it's a clever kid's show. And it's like a bit where like, they walk in, the first time they meet Wurzel, these two kids. And he's like, what's your name then? He goes, John. He goes, far too boring. Never going to remember that. And she goes, what's your name? He goes, Anna. He goes, it's even more boring than his. Where's all the syllables? And I was like, okay. It's just these little things that was just really, I don't know, it was funny. It was funny as well.
Right.
But it was a proper, rural fantasy kids show, old school. And it was really nice and a good story as well. I was like, yeah. So I just came out of that and went, well done. It's not often I would, because it's part of your heritage, so you're a bit weird. And I did not like the new thing. I saw the pictures of his face and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Mate, that's horrific. But it's all right.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, that was that. It's one for the youngsters.
One for the younglings.
Yeah.
See that segue?
Younglings. No, what other series talks about younglings?
I believe that would be the Star Wars.
And here we are, Star Wars people. Star Wars, Rise of what is in its name?
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. That's his name.
Yeah.
Right. And where do we even start with that?
So, again, where we start is if you've not watched Rise of Skywalker. God, if you've not watched Rise of Skywalker, we'll see you next episode.
No point discussing this without just going in.
Yeah, it's if you have seen it, buckle up because it's going to be a ride. It's going to make the trench run look like a trip down to Tesco's. So I think where we should start is,
did you like it?
Did we like it? Do you know what I mean? And overall, keep the positivity high to start with. Let's do it light and dark. So let's start on the light side.
Start with the light, end with the dark.
Yeah.
All right. Did I enjoy it? So I think I said this to you. So I went to see it while I was in Stratford-on-Avon, and I went to the Everyman Cinema, which is proper. It's sofas.
Mm-hmm.
You've got sofas, cushions. You can put your feet up. You've got a little table next to you for the wine, and okay, so maybe the manager comes in before the show starts and says, "Is everybody comfortable? Is the temperature okay? Anyone too cold, too warm?" I'm like, "This is cinema, man. This is cinema." And well, that's great. So you all have a good show. If you need me, I'm today's manager. My name's whatever. I'll be just out there in the bar. Enjoy the show. And I was like, me and the woman, I went with a woman called Katie.
Woman. Right.
Me and Katie.
Apologies, Katie, if you listened.
Yeah, Katie, who's playing Dick in Dick Whittington.
Cool.
And literally, me and her just started clapping, and like the cinema was around here. We were the only ones. We were like, that deserved a round of applause, man. No one else. I was like, what's wrong with people? So anyway, I was in a good place anyway, but it finished, and I think I said to you, I could spend days tearing that film apart, but I was sitting here and I loved it, and I want to go and see it again. And I still feel the same way. I could tear that film apart, and probably will do, but I enjoyed it. It felt like Star Wars to me. Yeah, I had a good time. How about you?
I'd kind of resigned myself that I wasn't going to see it until, I don't know, maybe even when it came on stream. For no particular, I think there was just so much. Ever since The Last Jedi, I think because The Last Jedi just split the Star Wars fandom, that it kind of just soured Star Wars for me a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when all this Rise of Skywalker stuff started up, again, it all just the wave started up. Couldn't go on anything and start to look at the comments, and you didn't even have to go like down 5 comments. People were just slating it, and the film hasn't even come out yet. Do you know what I mean? And then people were still slating The Last Jedi, and I was just like, oh man, you know. And
but I mean, even I've seen people come out of this and go, yeah, if you didn't like it, then you're not a Star Wars fan. And I'm like, wow, it's like from both sides, people are just becoming.
And I think that's the part of it as well. It's from both sides. It ain't it's just the people who didn't like it. It's from both sides. But in the end, I was worried that it was going to get spoiled for me. So I just said to look, can we go and see it? So we'd see it. And I've got to say, same thing as you. I've got a lot to say about this film that isn't necessarily positive. No, critical. I've got a lot of critical things to say about this film, to be honest, because I don't think a critique is necessarily positive or negative. It's a critique.
No, it's a critique.
So I've got a lot of things to say about the film. But like you say, the vibe that I came out with was that I enjoyed the heck out of it. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. And like you said, it was a Star Wars film, and I had a lot of fun with it. And the more distance I put from it, and I was having this conversation with Ant, is that I still in my head, I'm like, I still enjoy it. I still loved it. I will watch it again. But I feel like the way we are now with a lot of films, we kind of don't have that same level of grandeur that we had with the original films.
No.
And one of the things that Ant said to me at the time, and I kind of argued, we argued back and forth about it, where he was kind of saying, yeah, but to be honest, I think that's just where we are now. You know, you're older and stuff like that. And if Empire Strikes Back came, because I was using the scene where Yoda levitates the X-wing, and which brings tears to my eyes. And he was saying, yeah, but you know, if that film came out today, you went to see it, you know, with everything, with all the other films that have been out, it wouldn't have the same effect.
No, see, I disagree with that.
And I said, I disagree. I said the reason I disagree is because when I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy, the bit at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy where he grabs it's basically one of the Infinity Stones or whatever, and that whole sequence where the music is going and everyone has to kind of touch him to stop it from grounding the floor. I was in tears.
It's the heart. To me, it's moments like that. The effects mean diddly squat. Yeah, the technology, the sensationalism mean diddly squat. As if you are showing me heart, then that's what gets me. And that film had heart. That moment was pure like, yeah, it's impossible. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not impossible.
Whereas I feel like a lot of the newer Star Wars films and some of the Marvel films as well, you know, and modern, I think, geek films now, that sometimes that heart is manufactured.
Yeah. And I keep coming back to say the reason my favourite Star Wars film is the first one is because when the X-Wings and the Y-Wings went up against the Death Star, there was people in there who'd known for 5 minutes. Porkins, I still just literally, I'll put my hand on my heart then. Porkins.
Yeah.
Walked the dust, yeah. And I felt it. And in this one, there was that guy who was in Heroes, who was in it.
Oh, yeah.
And he brought
Abrams' friend, isn't it?
Yeah, and he was in the last film, but when he went down, it was like, you know, Poe was like, whatever his name, Snatch or whatever his name is. I can't say Snatch. Gavin S, I'm sure. And he was like, no! And I was like, well.
Yeah, I was the same.
I just didn't feel that. I didn't feel that connection which I got from Porkins in 5 minutes, and this dude was in 2 films.
Yeah, and
also, I'm sorry, man, I am not following Poe. Damn it, there are people in the Star Wars universe I would follow into hell. Poe Dameron ain't one of them. Because my boy cannot. If I'm gonna fall into hell, you got to be able to come with a speech, yeah. It's like when it's one of the things I loved about Rogue One, man. It's like everything's on the line, and people still moving forward. And this was like, you know what? They're done. And I'm like, this is the point. You need a speech going. We're gonna go, and if we go down, we will go down with fire, and we blah blah blah. And he was like, oh, my friends, I was wrong.
Sorry.
Sorry guys, we're fucked.
Well, the thing is, we've already crossed over to the dark side, haven't we? But it's kind of like when you compare, like, because effectively there's a lot of similarities between Rise of Skywalker and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think they're identical films. I feel that's an unfair criticism on it. Labeled. But there are similarities. You can't get away from that, right? But when you look at, in Return of the Jedi, right, they're effed. There's a bit where, like, you know, they realise the shield's still up and they're trapped and you've got Star Destroyers coming in, and, like, there's a bit where Lando's going to my boy Akbar, and he's like, yeah, that's what I said, man. Engage those Star Destroyers at point blank range. And Akbar's like, yeah, but we can't return that sort of power, you know. We won't survive this. And he's like, yeah, well, maybe we'll take a few of them with us. Do you know what I mean? And all the while he's turning to his buddy, which I'm going to cuss about. He turns to his buddy, Ninum, and he's kind of like, and Ninum's like just fretting. He's like, no, I'm telling you, man, Han's going to get that shield down. We just got to give him more time. That's belief. And everyone followed Lando, and then they got the shit done. Whereas you flip to this one, and like you said, it goes to shit. And I remember watching the bit, it goes to shit, and you just see Paul watching people blow it up, and he's like, I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're screwed. We're done, folks. I was like, wow.
That's really? A commanding officer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the general. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
wow.
If it wasn't for Lando rocking up, you really would have been effed, man.
Yeah. Just like
but, but what I'll say is, like, still on the kind of like the good stuff. So, like, I'm so gutted. I know you did you see any trailers for this?
For what?
Rise of Skywalker.
I did see a couple, but
okay. Because it's probably the one time I was gutted I saw a trailer for it, just because that scene where, like, Finn is riding down the Stardust with his gang.
Yeah.
That scene was money. When they're just riding and lasers are coming, they're just I was gutted. Because if I hadn't seen that in the trailer, I would have been out of my chair.
I was a bit upset that I didn't know more of the again.
Right.
Go on.
It's a positive. I think there's a lot of this film where you get a positive and then straight away there's negative to balance. It's almost like bringing balance to the force. Do that to this review. Because for every positive, there's kind of like a negative that goes along with the positive, because that sequence was brilliant, and bringing in a load of troopers who had defected like Finn had was a brilliant idea.
It was genius.
The problem was you should have done that from, and I'm not even getting into like cussing The Last Jedi. I'm not on that tip, right? Because there's a lot about Last Jedi that I liked. So, but you should have that in The Last Jedi.
No, there's a number of things that should have been done in The Last Jedi. So, I mean, I've had a lot of problems with the treatment of Finn throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, we both have.
And a lot of it is racially motivated. So just in a nutshell, the way I define racial progression in TV and cinema is not how many black people are in a thing, but how many ethnic people, not just black people, ethnic people are leading the narrative. Yep. And I'm not saying I want black people to take over. I'm saying just balance. Yeah? So what you promised, and if you kept your mouth shut, I wouldn't have nothing to say. Well, what you promised me in all the trailers and whatever, this was a story about two people, a white woman and a black man. Yeah. And in my mind, I was like, are they both going to have the force and have to learn how to work it between them and blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is really exciting. I've been waiting for this kind of thing forever since Lando survived to the end of the movie. And in that first movie, Now, I come from a time when black people never made it to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, he was still alive, but he was in a coma. I had proper flashbacks going on, man. Trauma, proper flashbacks.
Yeah. I remember we talked about it because you rang me up, man.
And also, but about halfway through that movie, I was like, it's all looking good. It's all looking good. And then he became her caddy. He became her Jedi caddy. So I was vexed. Second movie, you put him in a subplot, which failed, and you relationshiped with him with an Asian woman because, I don't know, was it not allowed to have a relationship with the lead white woman? I don't know. And it was in this plot that failed, and nothing. He didn't do nothing. He added nothing. He added nothing. And that's not about him. That's just about the way it was written.
But also as well, the one scene which actually would have saved that entire story arc, and which actually would have given him an arc, they cut.
Yes. Is that where he's fighting
with Phasma?
Phasma or whatever.
Yeah, Phasma, whatever. Yeah. And basically calls her out, and then to the other stormtroopers, and then they kind of turn on her, and then she has to kill him. And if you'd left that scene in, that's the perfect setup for giving him that almost that kind of leadership
thing. Do you know what I mean?
Because
in the third one, he's being given leadership roles, and I'm like, ain't done much to deserve that yet, but fine. So in the third one now, they started to do things which I'd been looking for since the first movie. They gave him the kind of Leia role where he was starting to experience, hey, he's feeling the Force.
Yeah.
He's definitely got it now. That could have been developed. You could have found ways with that. And I'm like, okay, he's starting to bring him back up to that first tier. But because he started so late, he can never get there.
Yeah.
But they'd started in this movie, they started to do what I wanted / needed them to do the movie before.
And what's weird is because when you watch, especially you're watching this film, you go back now to look at Force Awakens, and then we'll watch them all again at some stage, but you go back to look at Force Awakens, and I definitely felt that the purpose of Force Awakens, that the concept of it was like the Force was awakened in her and in him.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
The whole there's even a scene right at the beginning where it's the scene where he kind of is like, I'm out. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't. Where they get ordered to kill the villagers, don't they? And he doesn't do it. But you see Kylo actually turn and look at him.
Yes.
He looks at him as if to go, something ain't right about that guy. Something's not right. And then he kind of lets it go and then walks on. Plus, again, I don't care how trained up you're supposed to be. And the whole thing of like, well, Kylo had already been shot in the stomach and blah. He was a Sith.
Yeah, and my brother was holding his own for a while.
And he was holding his own. And again, I feel that was JJ's idea, was that's the route they were going to go down, and it would have been a double hit, as in we would have thought, oh, it's going to be Rey. Actually, no, it's the both of them, which would have been I think would have worked really well. And you could see that's what he was trying to come back round to, but like you say, it was too late.
Too late.
And I think
I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, definitely.
It allowed me to enjoy the film more. The fact that they gave nods to the things that, again, it was too late, but the fact that they started to acknowledge the things that I'd wanted to see meant that I could actually enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
It gave me that enough wiggle room to go, okay, I can enjoy this without swearing at the screen.
I think visually there was a lot of really cracking visuals in the film. Certainly where Palpatine was hanging out was visually looked brilliant. I mean, they could do it cracking on turning on some lights. Maybe he's not paid his. Well, I worked on the basis. The reason why there was no lights in like Palpatine's secret hideout is because he spent all his money building the fleet and he's got no more money to keep the lights.
Yeah.
Because my biggest takeaway from that film was like, did Emperor Palpatine win like the national lottery? Because where you get the money from?
Well, do you know what? I think it's part of it. I reckon he was squirreling it away. You know that thing? So keep in mind, how long has this thing been going? How long has he been alive? Yeah, it's been a while. I reckon from the moment he became emperor, probably even before that. You know that thing where I think they did it in Superman 2.
I was the thing where
you take away like a penny for every pound.
Yeah. That's Superman 3, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I reckon he was doing that with the Empire, like from the days of the Republic. So, like, just imagine every one of his employees, every stormtrooper, every clerical officer, every whatever, he'd taken like a penny from every credit they earned. Yeah,
No, that's true. That's true. But still, there's effort because you got to build that whole fleet and you got to fit them all out. And what I didn't understand, right, is,
yeah,
and that's why this whole thing of like, yeah, this is what we always meant to do, bollocks,
yeah,
right? Because why would you build? Because if the whole thing is supposed to be Palpatine from behind the scenes, right, running the score, running it, why would you have built Starkiller Base
yeah.
when you know you're building 200,000? Because that's how much they look like. You're building like 200 plus super star destroyers with Death Star cannons put on them. That isn't you because they're saying it's like a year between Last Jedi and this film, right? You're not building that fleet in a year.
Nah.
I'm not even being a geek and being all like, no, because blah blah blah.
Also,
Look,
also,
logic.
I've got to say it's a pretty thin plot point that, you know, if you destroy one place, one ship, all the navigation is they can't move anywhere. You're telling me, like, once you've launched them, surely they've got to work independently anyway. That's just nonsense.
What I don't understand, because Palpatine's a clever man. We know this,
Yeah.
right? So why, given the fact you've built what 3 Death Stars, right?
And they've all gone out the same damn way.
They've all roughly gone out the same way, right? And then you're gonna. So I get the logic. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna like hedge my bet. So I'm gonna put Death Star tech and all Star Destroyers. That's a good plan.
That was a good plan.
That's a good plan.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm gonna make sure it's all controlled from one ship. That probably isn't such a good plan. And it's gonna be a tower which is easily accessible. That's probably not a good plan.
Doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense.
Doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
And also as well in the final scene, right, sequence, right, which I loved, the bit where she kind of calls on all the previous Jedis.
Oh yeah.
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 So when I watched it, I thought the voices were cool, but to a certain extent, one voice actually stood out amongst all of them for me at the time. And it's the voice says, "In the heart of a Jedi lies her strength," and the way he delivers the line, and I think that's when she then gets up to her knee or something, and I was like, "Yeah, this is money." That was Freddie Prinze Jr. from Rebels, who does Kanan.
Right. Yes.
And I was saying this to someone. I said, I wonder if, because a lot of the other ones were actors, some of them were voice actors as well, but a lot of them were actors who may not have done voice work.
Mm.
So I'm wondering. I mean, you've done both, so I'm guessing it is a different discipline.
It is, and it's a mistake to think that they're the same thing.
Yeah. So for me, he nailed it. There was like a kind of another level to his performance over the other ones. The other ones almost felt like someone's been given a script and it's going, right, you say this, Hayden Christensen, you say this, Ewan McGregor, and they say the lines, and it's still good. Do you know what I mean? But his line was just, you can go on YouTube and you can get that, you can listen to the audio, and when you listen to audio, I defy you not to hear him above everyone else.
But I do love the fact that it wasn't just random voices; they were particular Jedis, even from the animations, and I love that.
I think that really, and it gave credence to those series. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've got to say, on top of that, Palpatine, turn off your lightning, man. What's wrong with you?
You know what I mean?
I didn't get it. That was a bit. I was just like, why didn't you just stop? Maybe he couldn't stop. Maybe it was a feedback loop. I don't know. I was just a bit.
Who knows?
Because clearly it's not. Look, the lightning's not working for you anymore. The whole having one thing for your Death Star which can be taken out isn't working. Change it up, man.
Yeah.
Change it up. If you come back again, just change that up. That's all I'm saying. Don't be critical because he's been good.
I tell you one of my biggest problems.
Good.
They're overdone. They're overdone the people coming back from the dead thing. Because I'm like, this saga will never ever end. Because like you kill people, and that's no guarantee they ain't gonna come and fuck you up later.
Yeah.
And now, and like what they did with Luke, now you've given him like he's dead and he's lifting up like spaceships from. Couldn't do it when he was alive. He's dead. So what's the point of dying? It makes no difference. No difference. I was like, yeah, your disembodied voice that can help, give advice, give whatever. But no. I mean, like, there's no point. I don't understand.
There did seem to be elements where it almost felt a little bit like there's a bit in Force Awakens where Finn goes to like Han, we could use the Force, and Han just turns to him, that's not how the Force works. Right? Yeah. And it feels a little bit like there was a lot in this film where it almost felt like the writers got into a bit of a corner, and then someone like from the writers' office just goes, we could use the Force. And I go, yeah, but yeah, that worked. Just work that in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like let's try and hit all the markers. You don't have to.
You don't have to. And I think I'm not saying I wanted them to kill Chewie. You know, I'm saying up front. There's no part of me that thinks they should have done, because I feel they wasted Chewie as a character in the whole trilogy.
Again.
Wasted.
I'm like, hold on. My boy's been on this ship for the longest time, yeah? Han dies, and they give it to the new girl.
I said to someone, how this should have ended is it should have been, so at the, and I think there's a scene, one of my favorite, or certainly one of my most emotional scenes in this film was when they tell Chewie that Leia's died.
Yeah.
And he's gone. He's just gone. And they're trying to like Chewie, and he's like, just get the fuck away from me. I'll rip your arms off, man. I ain't joking. Do you know what I mean? Get out of my space. And he's just gone. And I almost felt that scene was almost like him kind of going like, my best friend's dead. Do you know what I mean? My other friend's dead.
Yeah.
Luke. Because he can't see Luke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luke's dead, and now you're telling me Leia's dead as well. It's just like I got nothing. You know what I mean? And I think, and that bit at the end when he's just sitting there on his own, which I think is the most stupidest scene, where he comes up and gives him the medal. Because and this is what I was saying to Ant is my biggest problem with the film is when people say fan service, right? It's not fan service in service of the story. It's fan service in service to the fans. And by that I mean Captain America saying Avengers Assemble in Endgame, and that amazing sequence that we get before that. You can make the argument, well, it's fan service because you've got all these different characters from all these different films there, but it makes sense within the context of the story you're telling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas when she gives Chewie the medal, it makes no sense to the context of the story that you're telling, because you could have people that be sitting in there that have never seen the original trilogy and they've only watched this trilogy. They'll be like, why is that significant?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it only makes sense to the fans who are kicked off about, Chewie never got his medal, and it might have even been JJ going, it wouldn't be cool if Chewie got his medal at the end. Well, no, not really. What would have been cool is if he'd been sitting there kind of like, yeah, it's great, we've won, but everyone I know is dead. And the one person that he actually has a history with comes up to him, and you just see him put a hand on his shoulder, and it just goes, man, I missed him too. And it's Lando.
Yeah.
And Lando.
And it's like, and you know what? At that last scene, it was everyone else is hugging and whatever. My boy's partnering with the robots. He got all
Chewie.
Yeah, they've just put him aside with the droids.
I'm telling you, man, it should have been Lando sitting with him. I missed him too. And then it ends with like him and Lando in the Falcon, gone. Do you know what I mean? Him and Lando gone in the Falcon. I'm out. Do you know what I mean? We're gonna go have adventures. That's how you should end it. Because he's got nothing.
Yeah,
he's got nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I said, I think they've mishandled Chewie from day, and no one really goes, but I think they mishandled Chewie from day dot anyway. And I liked Lando. I would have liked to see more of him.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like I almost feel like they were good. They were never going to bring him in, and then like they were like, oh shit, yeah, we need someone in there. Let's get Lando. Do you know what I mean? And which was a shame. I feel like he could have, but he was good. I think with the limited time he had in there, he did good stuff with it.
I did like the hopping all over the galaxy trying to find things. I kind of did like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't like that. Well, I quite liked it because it almost had that kind of adventure Indiana Jones vibe to it. So
exactly.
I was all right with that. I didn't mind it. You know, you could poke some holes in there. I'm not saying you couldn't, because you could, but I did enjoy that. And I really enjoyed the big lightsaber fight in the water.
Yep.
Oh, that was a good fight. And I actually thought and that part probably, I don't want to go on with the Finn stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because we have talked about it, but I actually think that he's what's his name, Kylo Ren. Certainly, he got an arc through those films.
Yeah.
You know, and you make the argument that I think Rey got an arc through those films, but the problem that I had with the Rey stuff in this film,
she didn't have an arc. B.
No, she did. No,
she had a straight line.
She had
a straight line.
She had a straight line going up. Because I didn't, and I think
it was like, you will come to the dark side. She blatantly won't.
I don't even think. So I think for me, I don't. When I say she had a bit of an arc, I don't think the arc was whether or not she was going to go to the dark side. I think the arc was more about her finding her place. Do you know what I mean? Finding who she was, I suppose, is where I'm coming from. But I feel they didn't stick that landing, because I think what they did in Last Jedi, don't send me hate mail, do you know what I mean? But I liked that idea that she was nobody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I liked the idea that she was nobody, and I feel that, and that she had to stand on her own 2 feet. Do you know what I mean? You're not a Skywalker. You're not. You know what I mean? You're just nobody. And she's like, okay, I can deal with that. You know. But I feel by making her his granddaughter, which just come out of nowhere, I was just a bit. It didn't have. I suppose the thing was, because there'd been so much speculation around it in a different way. There was no speculation around Luke. Vader being Luke's dad, do you know what I mean? That would just come out of nowhere. So for me, there was so much speculation around it that in many ways, her being nobody was a bigger twist than her being Palpatine's granddaughter. Do you get what I'm saying?
I didn't mind that, to be honest.
It's not that I minded it once, but it was like, it didn't. If you were expecting me to go, when they go, you know, you're Palpatine's daughter, dun, 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 I was just like, oh, okay. Because to be honest, it was going to be one or two. Do you know what I mean?
I did kind of go a little bit.
Did you? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Wow, a little bit of judgment there, man. Wow. Don't hold back.
Whatever floats the Millennium Falcon, dude. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just okay. And I think I suppose where you were coming from, where I kind of agree, is that when she faced off with Palpatine, it wasn't the same as when Luke faced off with him, where he was just pushing his buttons.
Yeah.
To the point where Luke was like, "No, I'm not having this anymore."
But I don't even feel like Kylo Ren pushed the buttons. It was just like, what? It was a lot of like, what is happening? What is this connection? Don't understand it. But it was never. I never felt like she was so conflicted, because Luke was conflicted because it was his father. It was whatever. There was no confliction in her. She was just like, what is going on with us?
No, which is what I think with the Emperor. I think he basically was blackmailing her in the end, because he wasn't trying to push her to like the dark side, because it was almost like, well, just saying, you know what I mean, it's not going to work. So it was like, either you kill me so I can. I didn't even really understand that. Do you know what I mean? Kill me so I can go into you, or whatever you're gonna do, or I'll destroy the entire fleet. So that is which is different from the Luke's, that he's not trying to push her to the dark side. He's just kind of like, there's your choice. So and she's kind of like, yeah, okay, because I want to save my friend. So okay, let's do it. You know, so it wasn't that same. Oh my God, you know, is she going to? She's gone too far, and so it was a different vibe. But again, I didn't mind it. And when I thought the bit where like he kind of drained their power and he kind of was like full on Palpy, and then he fires up the lightning.
Palpy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
fires the lightning up into the ships. I was like, wow, my boy's got some power.
He's next level, isn't it?
He's next level, boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought that was really good. I do still feel I still wish that they hadn't taken him out with basically just reflecting the lightning back at him.
Yeah. Do you know what?
I feel they could
even
have found
forgot.
a better way to do that.
Do you know? It says something. I even forgot. I was thinking, how did they take him out? I'd forgotten. That says a lot, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'd rather them just got stunt double in and just have a lightsaber fight or something. I don't. No, but even that, no, because they already had a couple. But yeah, it was.
But also, I was like, I did not feel his death meant nothing to me because what you've showed me is death has absolutely no meaning in this universe. So
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, until next episode.
Yeah, I almost wanted his last words to be, "I'll be back."
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly. I was like, yeah, I almost felt like, oh yeah, because I felt like he was gonna say, "Haven't we been here? Don't you know if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful?" Because we've been here.
There was the old, those old Fu Manchu films, incredibly like racist caricature.
Yeah.
Hammer used to do, and it was Christopher Lee played Fu Manchu. At the end of every Fu Manchu film, right, his secret hideout would get blown out, and he should be dead. And it'd even have like the smoke coming out from his volcano hideout, and he'd see his face, and he'd go, "The world will hear from me again." I'm like, how? You know what I mean? They just blow your face out. You should be dead.
How?
And that's kind of what, like you said, this feels like. And it was, I was shocked when she took him out and then she fell to the ground, and then like Ben turns up. I genuinely thought she was dead. Well, she was dead, but I was like, I remember I was like, I thought her eyes are open. She's like proper dead. There's no, and I remember saying to myself, well, there's no coming back from that. Wow, okay, JJ, that's
ballsy move.
That's ballsy move, JJ, because so basically the big twist is it's now going to be Ben Solo, and he's like, and he's a Skywalker. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, so that's what. Okay, wow, that's brave.
That's the other thing. I was like, so Rise of Skywalker is basically her being adopted by the Skywalkers. Is that what that means?
Right. Again, I'm circling back around to it. We both enjoyed the film, right?
Yeah.
We both enjoyed this film. Don't get us wrong, people. We both enjoyed this film. we got to get stuff out. We got to get stuff off our chest. I'm gonna get stuff off our chest, man. Rise of Skywalker didn't make a lick of sense as a title, right? Because and there's a reason why. Because so when she rises, okay, I'm like, okay, that's the rise bit. I get that. But where's this? But you're not Skywalker. So the bit where she goes to Tatooine, right, made no sense because, and this was another example of fan service in the same, because why would you go back to how did you even know that's where he came from? But anyway, why would you go back to Tatooine and go, yeah, I'm going to bury the lightsabers. Now you're back where you belonged. In the one place that Luke wanted to get the hell out of.
Yeah.
Now you can rest. What's that? In my mind, right? After she goes, Luke's ghost turns up. It was like, shit.
Yeah.
Show me. Show me. I'm never going to get those power converters, Jeff, from the Toshi station. Jeff.
Even in death, I can't get away.
Show me. And then you hear Aunt Bruce's voice from the Force. Luke. Oh, man.
Literally, because nobody dies. Nobody dies. They still got him doing chores.
So so when she does that, and then which is an emotional scene in one point, and that's what I mean. At the time, it's an emotional scene, and you come out and you think about it, and you go, "Hold up a minute." And when that old woman turns up from nowhere, because this is in the middle of a desert. Let's remember this, kids, right? But anyway, she rocks up, right, and she's like, no one's been here for years. Again, so why are you here? Do you know what I mean? Are you the cleaner who comes twice on Tuesdays and not told her that, they're dead or something? She's still rocking up on a Wednesday afternoon cleaning. But yeah, so she turns up And he says to her, like, oh, it's been here. What's your name there? In my mind, that should have gone two ways, right? Either it should have gone with her going, and I did, then I'll put my hand up. I nicked this one from a podcast I was listening to review. It should have either gone with her going, Ray, with her going, my name is, and then it just fades to black. Yeah. So you never know which way she's going to go.
Yeah.
Or, which is my interpretation, given the journey that she's been on, she just says, my name's Ray. That's it.
Yeah.
Because everything that she's been through is actually right back to that bit in The Last Jedi when she goes to that dark cave where she looks and all she sees is her reflection, right? That whole journey is led around to like one truth, and is that she's all she's got and that's all she needs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, being a Skywalker means nothing. Being a Palpatine means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. In her own life.
Own choices.
Exactly. She doesn't need a lineage to define her.
Absolutely.
Right? So from my mind, she would have just gone, my name's... Well, I would have... From the character that I was seeing through the films, I was expecting her to just go Ray and then smile and maybe turn and have the twin sunset.
There you go.
And I'd have been like, okay, yeah, I'm alright with that. But when she's like, my name's Ray, and then turns and you see Luke and like, which is cool, but I'm sure Luke was cussing, right? In the background to Leia, you know what I mean?
Just imagine what the hell?
Do you know what I mean? Somewhere there's going to be a sketch for that, you know what I mean?
You know it.
And Leia never even went to Tatooine. Do you know what I mean? She didn't even make it there. She only went there to get Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, I mean, to be fair, you couldn't take her back to her planet because that got blown up. So, fair play. But a lot of planets got wiped out in that saga, man. But yeah, so that to me is where the fan service came in when she said, "My name's Ray Skywalker." It just made, because it's almost like we've got to make it fit the title we've picked.
Doesn't even scan. Doesn't even sound.
No. And I think someone made a point about what would have been cool is Rise of Skywalker would have been following on from Last Jedi, almost the saying the Jedi needed to die. It was almost like that the Jedi Order doesn't exist, and now it's the Skywalker Order. And now instead of Jedis, you have Skywalkers.
No, yeah, completely. But do you know what? Do you know what's nice? Is it's done now.
Yeah.
And again, I enjoyed that film. I'm glad I went to see it, and I do want to see it again. But part of me is like, I don't know. I say it's done now, but everyone keeps coming back to life after they're dead, and I'm like,
I think it's done. I certainly don't think we'll see those actors and actress in these films.
Yeah, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So what I want is but what I like is, and so we'll have to talk about this another day because we're out of time. Is The Mandalorian, completely new direction, completely new setting, completely new corner. That's what I need now from Star Wars.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking forward to watching. Honestly, now the saga's finished, I'm actually looking forward to watching all the films again.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe in all of the films. There is something to like and love in all of those films. To varying degrees. I just got carried away. Phantom Menace, you know what I mean? But and I wonder if you're watching it as a whole coherent-ish story, there's more enjoyment to be had when you know you're not waiting for anything else. So the pressure's off almost. You can kind of just sit back and let it wash over you, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, but I'm interested to hear people's thoughts of this because, like I said, we've kind of just been around the houses with it, and I'm sure this won't be the last time we'll talk about it.
No, I doubt it. So, you know the score. Let us know what you think by emailing us at thegeeks@geeksyndicate.co.uk or on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram. Just let us know. But let's keep it friendly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what? Because I think sometimes a film doesn't have to be brilliant for you to like it. And I feel like some people go, it wasn't brilliant, it was terrible. It's like, you know what? It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. But actually, it was, you know what I mean? That's all right.
I had a lot of fun with it. I did, and there was a lot of Star Wars moments in this film as well. You know,
So I was all right with it. So let's keep that thing going. Lots of criticism, but
let's be kind to each other.
Be kind to each other. End of the
day,
be
honest and be open. Be honest with your opinions. There's nothing wrong in that, but just remember to be kind. It's another person you're chatting to.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So in the meantime, don't forget to check out the website geeksyndicate.co.uk and join us next month for the next edition of Geek Syndicate, where we will of course be bringing the sass back to geekdom. Till next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.
Yeah, and may the force be with you.
And
Always.
that.